It's a signal of the political crisis of American capitalism that they have for president a megalomaniac who is suffering from dementia. And I don't use those terms just in order to say bad things about Trump, but that's a real problem for American capitalism. And then, on top of that, he has appointed two complete bumbling amateurs, Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner, to negotiate the end of a war that is threatening to spiral out of control. So, first, what Trump did, or maybe not first, but more recently, what Trump did was he painted himself into a corner by threatening to wipe out Iranian civilization. And he was warned that that was a war crime, and he couldn't go down that road without repercussions. So he was desperate to find some off-ramp. So if you look at his original 15-point proposals, which nobody really knows what they were fully, but they most definitely contained a demand that Iran stop refining nuclear fuel. So then if you look at Iran's 10-point program, which we do know what they are, one of the prominent points in there is for Iran's right to refine its own nuclear fuel. So that right there means that this peace plan is on very shaky grounds indeed. Then on top of that, it appears that Israel was never consulted, and that Iran, as one of the points, had demanded that Israel stop its attacks on Lebanon, but Israel is continuing its attacks. So we don't know where all of this is going to end up, but at least for the present, it seems like this whole ceasefire deal might collapse. But in any case, what's come out of it, for one, is a strengthened Iran in that Trump has now recognized Iran's right to control the Straits of Hormuz, which in its own way is a more powerful weapon in that it's more useful than any potential for Iran to get a nuclear bomb. So that's where we're at right now. Tomorrow or an hour from now, it could be at a completely different situation. So let's put several points together. First, you have Vance and his two dwarfs, Witkoff and Kushner, returning from negotiations with no deal in hand. And the sticking points were, one, Iran control over the Straits of Hormuz, and two, Iran refusing to give up its enriched uranium. And I think that there's been a shift in the position of the IRGC, of the Iranian government, in this, that Trump recently threatened to wipe Iranian civilization off the map. That can mean one thing and one thing only, a willingness to use nuclear weapons on Iran, which is really the position of Netanyahu. And I think up until now, Iran just wanted to be, or at least the Iran government, just wanted to be in a position to develop a nuclear weapons on fairly short order if they felt it was necessary. But now, with the direct threat of Trump and standing behind him Netanyahu, of their direct threat to use nuclear weapons on Iran, I think that they do at this point think that they have only one alternative for their survival, and that is to have nuclear weapons. And of course, if they do develop a nuclear bomb, then Saudi Arabia will, Oman will, and it will lead to a widespread proliferation throughout the region. Now, the other thing that's coming into play is Trump's blockade now of the Straits of Hormuz, which of the several countries that are at present sending ships through the straits, China is one of them. And let's not forget that China has now decided to start sending missiles to Iran. So this is going to bring China directly into this conflict. The final point to keep in mind is that Netanyahu had tried to convince Bush, Obama, and Biden to do what Trump has done. But all three of them refuse. That shows, for one thing, it shows that Israel does not control U.S. foreign policy. But on the other hand, it shows, Trump has two close allies. One is Putin and the other is Netanyahu. And they play him like a fiddle. And so that's what Netanyahu did. And all of U.S. policy was really, in a way, headed in this direction for many, many years. But they all pulled back from the logical conclusion of it because they knew, that is to say, Bush, Obama, and Biden knew what a disastrous situation this would lead to. And Trump, with short-sighted idiot with dementia that he is, can't see beyond the tip of his nose. So now he's got himself in a situation where everything is actually leading him to a ground invasion of Iran. There's no way the U.S. does not have the military personnel for an invasion of Iran without conscription. And so now Trump has announced universal registration for a draft for everybody from the age of 18 to I think it's 25. So we can see the disaster that all of this has led to. And what's really needed, once again, will be a mass uprising of the working class, which who knows when that will happen. So this is John Ryman from Oakland Socialist signing off.